I'm happy to hold it for you if you need it.
Oh, man. Oh, they got me good. They got me good. If you all know, I know, see, that was good. That was very good. I don't think I'm ever at a loss for words, but all I can say is God is good. And I'm just truly humbled. There's no greater award. What Mr. and Mrs. Stonecipher meant to me personally, what they have meant to our team, what they mean to this company. I never want to lose sight of the struggles they went through and the dark nights that they went through to keep the doors of this company open. And I think about that often when I'm doing a three-way call. I think about it often when I'm traveling to different markets. I think about that often when I wanted to quit. Even the person whose quote is, "It's impossible to stop a man or woman who will not quit." That quote was derived because I wanted to quit. But I was smart enough or dumb enough to write in my calendar when I had about 4 or 5 people cancel appointments, "Mike, you can't quit." And that's where it came from. To be in Baltimore and to have my baby here, now I know it'll be messed up, who has been my inspiration since the day she was born. She's been on stage with me since she was a month old. I think probably wasn't supposed to fly with her to Las Vegas. The doctor was like, yeah, she probably shouldn't travel that soon because she had stayed some extra time in the hospital. But Michaela's always been my inspiration. My business name, AFM Ventures, stands for anything for Michaela. And now anything for Maya, since there's 2. You got to share it now, right? And since I'm at the mic, I'll make an announcement. No, I'm just kidding. That's just right. But let me just say this. I've always been, grew up in the inner city of Washington, D.C., about 50 miles from here. I was a C student at some of the very schools that Fertile Ground goes back and we, provide Christmas for and do some phenomenal things. I was, never the top recruiter. I was not what you would call a champion for the Circle of Champions, but what I did have was faith, and what I decided was I was not going to quit. And I had to make a decision to go from just playing the role to becoming the character. You know what I mean? Where oftentimes I would sit in the seats and I would celebrate others and I would dress the part after I got off of work and had my uniform on for so long, but I knew that I was just playing a role. I knew I hadn't developed into the person that could earn this award. And May 15, 2000, when this little girl was born, that's when I knew that I could no longer play the role. That's when I knew I had to become the character. Right? One of my favorite movies is Ray. Have you all seen the movie Ray? Right? Jamie Foxx did such an amazing job with that, and I'll never forget when they interviewed the producer who said, hey, I had the rights to this movie for 15 years, and I was just waiting for the right person to come along. He said, I didn't think it would happen in Ray Charles's life, but once he met with Jamie Foxx and they sat down, he said every other actor just wanted to throw on shades and read the lines. He said, but Jamie Foxx said, I will have my eyes synthetically glued shut 16 hours a day. He said it was rough. He said it was unbearable. He was in pain, and he thought about how Ray Charles lived his life every day. Also, in the process of that, he had to learn, play, and record all of the music. And he did that with his eyes synthetically glued shut. He said he developed an acute hearing ability as a result of not just playing the role, but becoming that character. Stay with me. As he went through that process, Ray Charles Robinson Jr., Ray Charles' namesake, said, I couldn't tell the difference between my dad and him. He said it was as if he stepped into his soul. Quincy Jones said, Ray Charles has been my best friend for 57 years. and I couldn't tell the difference. Until we get to the point, LegalShield family, where people cannot tell the difference of if you're playing a role or becoming the character, we'll never get to where we desire to be. And I had to make a decision to no longer play a role. Lastly, that meant letting some people go. And that's hard. That's hard to do, am I right? To let some people go. And I had to make a decision to walk away from those who had my problem and surround myself with the people who had my answer. And that's when life started to change, to be around the Brian Carruthers and the Donnell and Tracy Selfs, Brian and Melissa Carruthers, because Melissa is so much a part of Brian's success, and so many of my circle of champion family and friends, my Platinum World Council, I stand on the shoulders of the late, great John Gardner. I know I'm gonna cry now, right? The Moores, the Moore family, Dave Savola, so many of them. And I just knew that I had to get around people who could stretch me, even though I grew up in an environment where success was not happening legally, all right? It was happening, it just wasn't happening where I wasn't getting a Founders Award, it was something different. Chairman's Award, but that wasn't happening. But let me tell you one of the things that changed me, and then I'll sit down. Donnell Self and I took a trip to Nairobi, Kenya. Never forget it. And I learned so many life principles and things that affected my business on that trip. But one thing that stood out was as you go through the Serengeti, we're all familiar with the Great Migration, right? Are you, right? Okay, some of you. So for the uninitiated, it's the largest land animal migration in the world, right? You have about 2,000 wildebeest, about 500,000 zebra, another 500,000 antelope, and 16 different species of them. And they're going through this migration to seek fresh pasture and water, and basically, to survive. Stay with me, hold on to that fact. They travel in a circle, so they go from south to west to north, back to south. And of course, along the way, there are predators. They have lions. They go through the rivers, and there are 3,000 crocs that are coming after them. So we go out on this journey, and we're out there. You're watching cheetahs on the kill. You're experiencing all these great things. We watched 70,000 wildebeest cross over the Mara River. But there was one morning where we asked our driver, Shaban, who is a Maasai warrior, former Maasai warrior. We said, we want to see like cheetahs on the kill. He said, well, you got to get up about 3:30, and I'll be here at 4 a.m. to take you out. So we go out to experience this event, right, that you see on National Geographic, and we just wanted to experience it. But you really don't know what you want to see, right? And so we get out there, we spot 2 cheetah. He says they're brothers, and we see them stare at this antelope out in the field, and they charge, and we're driving through the bumpy terrain trying to follow them. We're recording it. And I'll never forget when the mama antelope ran off and the baby didn't make it. And so we're right there, watching the footage, and one of the young ladies who was in the Jeep with us, she said, as a mother, I just can't believe that she would leave her baby there to be slaughtered. And my driver, Shaban, looked at her just crazy, and he said, why? She'll have another in 6 months. LegalShield family, that's us. We keep waiting on the same people. We keep looking and calling, you're texting, you're sending messages right now to someone who didn't care enough to be here. They didn't make a decision to travel like you. They didn't sleep 6 in a room like we did at my very first conference. They didn't make those same sacrifices. And so it's time for us to move on and understand that greater is waiting for us on the other side. It is up to us. The only way you can possibly fail is to quit, but it is impossible to stop a man or woman who will not quit. God bless you. I'm honored, I'm humbled, and I'm still in shock.
Hey, brother. Hey, awesome, man.